Hey everyone, it's Carissa at Sprinkled with Glitter. Thanks for stopping by today. Today I have a fun and different kind of project. I am going to show you a few ways to decorate these really adorable mini piñatas from We Are Memory Keepers. They are from their DIY party line, and you can stuff these with all sorts of fun things. In fact, I'm sharing my top 10 things to stuff these with over on my blog and over at the We Are Memory Keepers blog as well. Now, in this DIY party line, there's also this fun confetti and then the fringe tape to decorate these with. Now, I love this fringe tape because it's super easy to work with. The adhesive is already on the back and it comes in a rainbow of colors. You get kind of a light and a dark color in each pack. And we have the entire range of the rainbow here. We have Roy G. Biv, and then we also have black and white too. And then, of course, some metallic, gold, and silver. And I'll show you a couple ways you can kind of customize that white fringe tape a little bit later on. So I'm starting out with my mini piñata here and some of this silver metallic fringe tape here. I'm kind of getting my bearings on this first one. I have never done this before this day, so I'm just kind of figuring out the best way. And this first way that I do this is not necessarily the best way. So keep that in mind. I am going to share some better ways to do this a little bit later on in the video. So I'm just taking off the backer to the adhesive tape that's on this fringe tape. And then I'll just take my scissors and trim that off at the edge of the box there. Now, as I continue on with decorating this little mini piñata, you're going to notice that I work from the bottom up. Always, always, always work from the bottom up when you're using these piñatas because it is really hard to tuck one layer of fringe tape up underneath another layer of fringe tape. Just trust me on this one. So I've gone ahead and covered the entire bottom of the box with that silver metallic fringe tape there, and then I'm just using my long scissors to trim off the edge so that I really keep and maintain the shape of that bottom of the cupcake. And I love how this silver metallic fringe tape, it really reminds me of those little aluminum foil cupcake tins or cupcake cups. Are they cupcake cups? That you can buy at the grocery store. You know, the ones our mom always used to use on our cupcakes when we were little. So that's what I kind of used here as my inspiration. And I went ahead and worked up the side of that cupcake box as well as the back. And now I'm just adding a string through those holes that are at the top of the cupcake piñata and just tying that off so that I have something to kind of hang it with. Now, I thought these would be really fun attached to the front of a gift bag. You can also use them as decorations at the party that you're throwing. Or I thought it would be fun for little kids to make their own little mini piñata to take with them at parties. So there's a lot of fun things that you can really do with these mini piñatas. So now I'm going to start working on the frosting of the cupcake. And since this fringe tape is available in so many amazing colors, I couldn't decide on just one. So I decided to go ahead and make a rainbow cupcake. So I've cut down several pieces, and once again, I'm working from the bottom up with this fringe tape. And I'm just removing the backer to the adhesive and then attaching it onto the front of that cupcake. Now, once I get these all adhered on, once again, I am going to use my scissors to trim around the edge of this box to maintain the shape of that cupcake. Now, for the cherry on this cupcake, I didn't want it to lose its round shape. And if I put the flat edge of this fringe tape on there, I think you would really kind of lose what that really is on top. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking my scissors and trimming a curve along the bottom of that fringe tape, and then I've gone ahead and attached it to the cherry area, and that helps it keep its round shape. Now, once I got the entire front of the box covered, I'm trimming around the edge of this with some scissors. I'm giving it a little haircut here. And here's where I really had my light bulb moment, and I figured out an easier way to do this. So on the back side of this cupcake, instead of trimming off the edges at the edge of the piñata, I went ahead and wrapped the fringe tape along and back around the side of that. So you see how it's overlapping the side? And that prevented me from having to kind of trim around that cupcake box. It really ended up giving me a cleaner edge. So this is what my cupcake looks like when it's all finished. And I'm going to add one of these fun little pull tabs along the bottom of the cupcake. These are also part of the DIY party line. They're available in the silver metallic as well as the gold metallic. And it just kind of puts a little area for the person that's receiving it to pull on. So they pull on this and the piñata opens and all the guts fall out. And this saves them from having to get their mini bat out, because I know every time I get a mini piñata, I can never find that little tiny bat that I need to bang it open. So here's a look at that when it's all finished. I did add some sequins to the top of that for some sprinkles. And now I'm going to move on to the second cupcake. So I thought it would be really fun to customize this fringe tape. I am taking just some pink ink along with a background stamp. This is kind of a confetti background stamp here. And I'm just stamping a tone-on-tone pattern onto that pink fringe tape. It's going to make it look like there's sprinkles all over this cupcake and just kind of add some fun texture to it as well. Now for the bottom of this cupcake, I decided to go ahead and use, of course, the gold metallic fringe tape. And you can see here, this is where I'm going to really get this down. I've figured out that the best way to do this is just to trim down pieces and wrap those edges around the side of the cupcake. Now, it's going to look hideous on the side at first, but when I go to add those pieces along the side of the cupcake, it's going to really clean up those edges, and it's going to maintain the shape of that cupcake piñata much better than when I was trimming it off with the scissors. So once again on this piñata, you can see I'm working from the bottom up, and I've covered both the front and the back of this cupcake, the bottom part, with the gold foil fringe tape. Now here's where I even get smarter. So it's all about getting smarter and learning from your mistakes. And I'm sharing this video tutorial so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I make all the time, because yes, I do make mistakes. So here I've just measured the side or the depth of this mini piñata, and I figured out that it was 1.5 inches. So I've gone ahead and cut a whole bunch of pieces that are 1.5 inches long, and now I'm just laying them along the side of that piñata box. Now this keeps me from having to trim along the edges because they're perfectly sized, and it also makes the process of this go much faster. So if you were to do this at a party and you were going to have little hands creating this, I would go ahead and have those side pieces trimmed down for them. Now, I did have to do a tiny bit of hair cutting along the side of this where those fringe kind of hung off the side when I wrapped them around, but much less trimming than what I had to do with the first piñata. So now here, once again, I am just laying down my pieces from the bottom up. I have this really fun customized fringe tape here. And there are really a lot of ways that you could customize this fringe tape. You could mist it lightly with some of those color mists, or I'm actually going to use some shimmer mist on the next cupcake here. I'm also going to show you a technique where I've used some Copic markers to add some custom color. You can even add some glitter to it to really make it sparkle. So you can see all my little pieces that I had pre-trimmed down there. That made this cupcake go much faster. And I finished it off with a little heat embossed sentiment and a die cut heart that I used the We Are Memory Keepers nesting hearts dies to create. So here's that little technique I was going to show you with the Copic markers. I am using a few colors of Copic markers to make my own custom color. Now I'm taking and I'm stroking with the direction of the fringe. So I don't want to go against the fringe because that's going to pull it up and make it really hard. I didn't actually end up using this piece of fringe tape that I colored here, but I did want to share this way of customizing this fringe tape. So for the final cupcake, I've gone ahead and I've just covered the entire thing with some white fringe tape. I actually used twice as much fringe tape to really make this full along that frosting edge. I'm just trimming down the edges of the cherry because they kind of want to stick out. And here's where I'm going to add some shimmer to this. So I have the Sukaneko shimmer spray here. I'm going to just mask off. I'm calling this a mask, but I'm really just holding a piece of paper over the bottom of that gold metallic fringe tape because I didn't want the shimmer to get on it. And I'm just lightly misting all over that cupcake. Now I'm going to kind of hold it up with my cell phone light here to show you the shimmer that adds. It's just another fun way to add your own little touch to these mini cupcakes. And I finished this cupcake off with some different colored sequins as sprinkles, and I just kind of glued them all over that. Now here is the fun part. It is filling these mini piñatas up. And of course, I'm making a mess with this confetti because that's what I do. I make messes. I've thrown a gift card in there just to show you how these fit really nicely. I've filled it up with a ton of confetti. You could add some sequins to it to make that confetti sparkle. And when you give this to the recipient, I'm going to show you what happens when they open it up. It all falls out, and there's your gift card there as well. Now, I also like to fill these with like cash or candy. There's all kinds of options here, but I wanted to give you one last look at all of the different cupcakes that I created. You see that white one there with all the fun, colorful sprinkles, and then, of course, the rainbow one, which is absolutely my favorite. And then there's the little pink one there that has the die-cut heart and sentiment on it as well. As I mentioned before, I am sharing all of these projects over on the We Are Memory Keepers blog today for their party week, and you can find more information over at my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I hope you enjoyed these projects. Thanks for stopping by today, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.